you're not making fucking isolate?
Where's your fucking isolate? Why don't you even fucking make one?
Make me a fucking isolate. Make me a fucking isolate.
Right, you ready?
Yes, I just need to learn what's in this. So it's no great secret that I'm not a huge fan of isolates. Or people think I'm not a huge fan of isolates, I should say. It's no secret that people think I'm not a huge fan of isolate, and that's not true. What I'm not a fan of is some of the bullshit that goes with isolates. An isolate will get you leaner in the same way that white fish will get you leaner than chicken. And it's on the same basis that, well, it's got like a gram less fat and it's got like a gram or two more protein. It doesn't matter. But there is a place for an isolate. So there are two reasons that we've brought one out. For one, if people just want a thinner shake, then an isolate is really useful. It's thinner. People think it's easier to digest. It's quicker to digest. It's not necessarily easy to digest. We include lactase with the Velosiwhey, the normal Velosiwhey. So that gets around a lot of the digestive issues for most people. There's very few people, or no one actually, that's had digestive issues with Velosiwhey. But some people just want a thinner shake. Post-workout, it makes a lot of sense. The other reason for an isolate. Sorry, phased out, but you can cut that. So the two reasons for an isolate. First of all, you just prefer a thinner shake. Don't say you just want to get the most protein and the least calories you can, because honestly the difference is so insignificant it's not worth worrying about. But a lot of people now have coaches, and a lot of those coaches will tell them they need to use an isolate. And I guess that's because there is a lot of inconsistency in the whey protein concentrate market, and with an isolate you know what you're getting. So we get people who will come all the time, and I'll explain to them the benefits of a concentrate, something like Velosiwhey, and they go, yes, but my coach has told me to use an isolate, so I'm going to use an isolate. And I get that, and I wouldn't want to undermine anyone's coach. So there's demand, and as a business, if there's demand for a product, you have to do it. But if we were going to do it, it has to be the best we can possibly do. There's a few people that trialed this who are very loyal to the brands of isolate that they normally use, and they've changed over to this. So what we've got is pure whey isolate with the inclusion of Velositol. Velositol is the patented licensed ingredient that we hold the license for, that we put in Velosiwhey. It increases muscle protein synthesis when combined with a whole protein source. So when we did Velosiwhey, we did a video like this, and I was a little bit hesitant to make really firm claims because at that time the studies were quite new, and they showed that when you combined Velositol with 6 grams of whole protein, you got an equivalent of kind of 20 grams of muscle protein synthesis. And when you combined 20 grams of protein with 2 grams of Velositol, you got something more like 35 grams worth of protein. So protein on its own is worth of muscle protein synthesis. So effectively getting more out of your protein, but for the same calories. Since then, the studies have kind of confirmed that initial finding that it does increase muscle protein synthesis when combined with a whole protein source, whether it's 5 grams or 20 grams. But they've also shown an improvement in recovery rates in athletes and an improvement in athletic performance. So the benefits of Velosiwhey are really, really quite clear now. In terms of price, with this it's a 1 kilo tub instead of a 1.2 kilo tub, but the retail price is the same. Obviously everyone knows isolate is that little tiny bit more expensive. The Velositol is still an expensive ingredient, so £39 for 33 servings. But each one of those servings contains a full serving of Velositol as well as a full serving of a whey protein isolate. There's not a huge amount more to say on that, but I should probably, and you should probably put this at the start of the video, Laszlo. I should probably explain the difference between Velosiwhey and this, for those who maybe don't understand what I mean by whey protein isolate, whey protein concentrate. So Velosiwhey, our original whey protein product, is 80% whey concentrate and 20% casein caseinate, which is a slow release protein. Isolate is a more refined version of whey concentrate. It typically has ever so slightly lower fat and carbohydrate content and ever so slightly more protein content. So with Velosiwhey, you get 20 to 22 grams of protein depending on the flavour, for about 115 calories. A little bit of fat, maybe 1.5 grams of fat in there, which gives it that little bit of creaminess. With the isolate, you get 26 grams of protein, but for 110 calories. So you are getting a little more protein, about 5 grams more protein, for a few less calories. As well as a thinner shake that's very quickly digested. So post-workout, it makes a lot of sense. Or if you're someone who's pushing calories and just wants something that's very thin and easy to get down. Flavour-wise, at the moment, we do it in a chocolate caramel that's nothing like Rolo, and we do it in a custard cream flavour, which is exactly the same as the custard cream flavour that we do in Velosiwhey because it's one of the most popular. I hope that covers that. it's quite boring. It's not something that I can kind of sex up with funny stuff because it's really dull nuts and bolts stuff. You'll sex that up.
I'll sex that up.
Good.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
Fantastic.
That's a little bit more wordy than I normally do.